Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is Ash Quest, and today we're going to be unboxing and looking at the contents of League of Dungeoneers, a game that has finally rolled off the production lines into shipping to backers everywhere from its crowdfund campaign, its second edition crowdfund campaign, as a matter of fact, with its new expansion. The False Prophet. Don't bother backing this game if you skipped Arm Day. It's huge. It's heavy. It is easily the heaviest game in my collection now, and there's no close second. The game box itself is over 14 inches square. It's massive. And then when it comes to you, it has built-in lid lift, so it's already 8 inches tall. I think the idea is that we're going to be able to reassemble the contents after we pop everything out and put everything back in and maybe get rid of that lid lift, but we'll see. It is a 1 to 4 player tabletop dungeon crawling game. A campaign is suggested to last anywhere, a scenario rather, between 90 minutes to 180 minutes, intended for ages 14 and up. Let's open this box and see what all we get. Yeah, so my camera, it's on the wide lens view right now, so you get as much of my table top as possible. And I will show you this box. Whoops, I did open the top package of the very top thing that's in here. I'll give you a better view of everything that you're supposed to see. There's not a whole lot of set dressing on the box. I appreciate that. It's very minimalistic. It's important to note that the previous edition of this was very much mired in graphics that I believe were copyright free or royalty free, stuff that you'd be able to use that would be accessible to an independent game maker, and that this project is very much a passion project for the developer. So yeah, I opened this top package because I was surprised to find these very Loki battle mat looking maps. We have a garden here. Lovely. I wonder if we'll actually have to garden in this game. We just have a ton of these battle maps. They're 12 tile by 12 tile. They're kind of 12 by 12 inch. Not really. They're kind of cut off on two of the edges, making them just shy. But all in all, lovely art, great design, great aesthetic, great style. And I've got no context here. I imagine that battles, scenarios, maps, whatever are going to take place on these, but I don't know in what capacity. So League of Dungeoneers being pretty massive is a surprise to me, although I did expect it to be quite large because this was supposed to come with a ton of stuff. I mean, an absolute metric ton of stuff. The creators very much made it known that this was a love letter, a passion project, one of their favorite dungeon crawlers, one of the greatest dungeon crawlers, Warhammer Quest. We have a lot of stuff to pop out. We have a lot of, look at these. Look, are these like villagers? Are they specters? Are they ladies? I mean, they're definitely ladies, but they look like they could be vampiresses or undead ladies or something. Something evil is going on here. Question mark tokens, coats of arms. I'd use these for maybe renown. We have exclamation points on the opposite sides. I didn't know they made the desiccants into strips now instead of pouches of salt. Lots of pops. I'm not going to waste your time with the popping. Well, maybe. You guys like that popping ASMR, don't you? Here we go. Yeah. Crunch. There's nothing like it. I'm not totally sure how to use these, but it's kind of implied how you might use them. We've got eyeball tiles that say searched, so you kind of know that these areas were searched. They're double-sided, but they say the same thing on both sides. The chits here at the bottom look like wound markers almost, or mana trackers or something. I'm not saying what they are, just what they look like. I don't know what they are yet. A lot of circular tiles next. Dropped weapon, 1 AP plus dex test. We have some lanterns. We have fire damage, no armor or NA, 50% risk of damage, turn 2. We have ranged, diseased, fear, unloaded, acid, focus, stunned, wounded. We have a lot of status effects going on. We have a couple of torches as well. These are wandering monsters using that same silhouette of the lady. We have one of my favorite parts of unboxing any game, the door components. Yes, I like doors. We have 10 closed doors, 10 open doors, and 10 doors with cobwebs through them. That's interesting. On to the next package, we have a ton of monsters. Oh, I didn't mention, League of Dungeoneers is a game of monsters on standees, but it's pretty miniatures agnostic. The creators were like, we need to have everything that you need to play the game included with the game, so here you go. But you don't have to use this stuff. You could just as easily use your own miniatures. It doesn't matter. You could use absolutely any miniatures you want. And I know that sort of thing kind of goes without saying, like you could do that in any game anyway because they're yours. I mean, but with this game, it's very much explicit. Hey, We have these in here for you, but use your own stuff if you want, because you might not like standees. Although I will say, I do like the art on these. Everybody's a bit too small for my liking, but I do like the art. Nonetheless, we have witches, we have goblins, we have werewolves, we have gecko assassins. That is a snake. That is not a gecko. That is a gecko with fangs. He is angry. You did not save 15% of your car insurance. We have gnolls, we have giant leeches, we have ogre berserkers, we have stone trolls. We have very intelligent layout here. Everybody is on the sheet. They're really maximizing their real estate. We have a lovely Saurian war chief. Satyrs, mummies, bandits, gigantic spiders, stone golems, beast men, and then one-shot characters like Grom Hornbrow and Brom the Mad. This goes on with a third sheet. We have a Hydra here, really interesting looking Hydra, Salamander, Shambler, Wyvern, Naga. From the graphics, looking at some of this stuff, it's almost like, hey, go buy a ton of Reaper miniatures. The Bloated Demon, the Minotaur Skeleton, epic enemies indeed. The Greater Demon, the River Troll. Let's move on. This is the 5th sheet, which includes a giant as well as a giant toad. This is the 6th sheet, which includes Ettins and Griffin. This is the 8th sheet. Guys are starting to be a little bit more spaced out now. And this is the 9th sheet. 9 sheets of characters, monsters, players. Well, 8 sheets. 8 sheets of characters, monsters, and players. 1 sheet of doors, 2 sheets of tokens, and a small sheet of tokens. Moving on. The thing that really interested me the most about this game was its map tiles. They are styled in the modular fashion. So we see these large 12 by 12s, but League of Dungeoneers is very much a modular dungeon that gets built piecemeal as you play. And whoa, everything's already kind of self-punching. I like that. I like a game that punches itself out. These tiles are all labeled. I see an R29 down here. I see a C22, so corridor 22, room 29. I've got the same number on both sides, so they're double-sided tiles. They could have cut down, I think, on the amount of stuff, unless there's a specific reason why these tiles are the exact same on both sides. I think they're the exact same anyway, unless there are any subtle differences on any of them, but it looks like they could have cut down significantly on manufacturing if they had made some of these. Well, I guess I'm going to take that back, because then you wouldn't be able to use 2 different tiles in the same mission every single time. Like, it might call for both of the sides of a given tile. So yeah, never mind. Just forget what I said. Pros and cons to it, though. We've got corners, we've got rooms, we've got larger rooms. Generally, you're going to see a lot of the 4x4s, but here's a 6x6. Really cool design. This is a very temple-looking dungeon. You've got some T's, and you've even got some really cool corridors that turn and snake around. I appreciate that. We've got implied traps in some of them as well. And we have bridges of despair. I don't know why I keep flipping them around like I'm going to find something on the other side when I'm not. I know I'm not. Let's go ahead and pop those because they're all kind of coming out anyway. I'll just save it the trouble. 4 more large rooms in this temple. Really love the look of this one. And I have a suspicion just looking at these tiles. I was correct. They are not exactly 1 inch. They're not exactly 15/16 of an inch. There's like maybe a 32nd of an inch or less of drift as you go on with the tile. Look at this massive, gigantic room. That is so cool. We've even got a crossroads section here. I like that a lot. So this particular set of sheets goes on with this awesome temple aesthetic, and then we move on. And then we have this next package of tiles, which is, ooh, that looks interesting. Gotta find the end, here we go. Nothing is going back in its cellophane today. It's all getting popped out. It's all getting stacked within the trays of the interior of the box, which we're gonna look at. I see coffins, I see treasure chests, I see fine furniture and rugs. I see more corridors, which means that this is going to be more of the classic dungeon, or possibly room for a mansion. I guess if I was going to make the tiles double-sided, that's how I would have done it. I would have put the mansion tiles on one side and the sort of temple tiles on the other. Yes, you'd be prohibited from using both at the same time, but yeah. Oh, that one's double-sided and has different graphics on each side. Check that out. Okay, so we've got this room, which it's very large. It's got a set of torches, braziers, and then you go up the stairs, and then there is a lovely statue of a lady accompanied by 2 gargoyles. On the other side, this is the lone tomb. On the other side, it's the Chamber of Reverence, and this one's quite different. This one's used for sacrifice, as you can tell, because there's lots of design on the floor. Candles, a circle, a person, a sacrifice laying in the middle. There is a table nearby, or perhaps a desk with a lot of different trinkets on it, shackles along the wall to hold people who may be next in line for the sacrificial altar, and then a giant idol of some type of creature, perhaps a god or demigod or demiurge of some kind, giant treasure chests full of gold. Another epic set of rooms that are the same on both sides. And then you have a couple more event rooms. This one's called the Fountain Room. It actually has a name instead of a designation. And then the Throne Room. On the other side, these are known as the Great Crypt, which I love, and the Lava River. Okay, awesome. Yet a few more really interesting shapes for rooms. The large room that has a bit of a notch in it, as well as corridors that end in rooms, and then a bunch more 6x6 rooms. This is one of those games where you probably never know how big the dungeon is going to be until you have laid it out and you're done generating it. A couple more big rooms this time. These just have designations rather than titles, so just R20 and R21, they're the same on both sides. They still look really good. There's still a lot more tiles to go through just in this stack, so we'll kind of fast forward and glance at these. Again, commenting on the art. Love it. Looks great. That crate is very mysterious. We have a set of stairs finally. And then one of my favorite configurations of rooms, the room that has a bunch of pillars in it so that you can go around while you fight the gigantic boss. Oh, and then the tavern room, of course, the Great Tavern. This one's really interesting. It's just one 12x12 tile. It's just for meeting. Kind of creepy that there's a bed here and then a bunch of places to sit to watch this area, whatever's going on here. Is this a fountain? And then the bed here? I don't know. This is called the Bandit's Hideout. On the opposite side is just the Bandit's Hideout. All right, and next up we have I think this is like a world map. I haven't gotten to the books yet. All this stuff has proper titles. I'm not reading the proper titles, but we have a hex map, and these hex spaces are quite small. Very, very small. We have places on the map like Irondale and Birnheim and Windfair and Duaburim. And then we have numbers here. Some are blue, some are cyan, some are white. We have 6 to 8, 5 to 6. We have 4 to 5, 3 to 4, 2 to 3. Oh, some of the numbers are red. Some are purple. And then we've got some that have more than 2 numbers. Some of these places only have 1 number. This is very curious. Very, very curious indeed. This folds all the way out, of course, so it's going to take up an entire spot. I'm not sure if you're going to need a second table to keep this, if this is tracking your overall campaign. I will tell you now that I got the King Pledge of this, which means I got that exact same map in neoprene form. It's around here somewhere. I'm not going to pull it out and show you. It's just the exact same map, but it's neoprene. Kind of like a blaze through the rest of the components now, but the next thing in this box is this lovely tray, finally. Some kind of placeholder, something to put stuff back into when we're done. It's not just a box. We have a ton of standees. We have large plastic ones, individually bagged for their protection. I like that. Hollow out the bottom, very fancy looking, very clean, shiny. These are going to hold our larger standees if we use them. We have a number of those, and then we have a bunch of small ones, which implies that you'll be able to build up your entire selection of miniatures in advance and then store them, or perhaps you will be actually playing against this sort of number of miniatures all at the same time. I don't think that's the case, though. I think this is just for convenience, so you can make them up as you go. These are a higher quality than the standees that you get with Dungeon in a Box because they are meant to hold cardboard and not have acrylic slipped into them. They're going to be a lot less prone to breaking. We have a lot of different baggies, so sortation solutions coming with this game natively. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Orcs and goblins. Yeah, okay. So you'll be able to build up your armies and then store them in these baggies. And not just your armies. Here's your doors. Here's your mercenaries. No, I thought I had that backwards, and then I flipped everything over and it was backwards again. It's just backwards no matter what I do. Undead, dark elves, beasts, heroes, magic, reptiles, bandits, and brigands. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for the extra Ziplocs. Speaking of doors, we have beautiful door sculpts. Will these hero quest? There's no question about it. Of course they will. I would use these as epic boss doors put on one tile to signify there's something very important on the other side, or you could use them as double doors, set them across two tiles, making doorway combat a thing of the past. We have torches on one side and just the overall door ready to swing out into the open on the other. They look so cool. I love these sculpts. That's not the only thing we have though. Ton of these closed doors. We also have open doors. So now you can show whether or not the door has been opened. I love that. I really, really do. 100% you could use these in Hero Quest. And they're made of a nice cast plastic. They feel great. They look great too. All right, we've got our markers, red, blue, yellow, one black. We have a lot of dice. I'm gonna look at those really quick. It looks like we have a standard set of role-playing game dice, which means that this game has tabletop role-play game elements without fail. I'm pretty sure the characters have a lot more stats than just body and mind, so to speak. 2 more D6 of different colors, a nice red, a nice green, and then one more that looks like it's a wound indicator, like there's a headshot there. There's a shot over the arm, shot over the torso, chest, leg. All right, now things are getting a little bit funky. We have these dial-looking chits, and these are actually plastic, and it looks like they have slotted acrylic bases into which they go. So now, I'm not sure what these are. Are these the heroes? Are these hero parties? Are these what move along the hex grid? I don't know. I don't know anything. We have others, though. We have ones that look like they symbolize groups of monsters. We have what look like dials. There are no bases on these. Oh, you know what? That's interesting. None of these have bases. They're all just flat tokens. So they're not used the same as this one. Okay. There are a ton of card sleeves because you're going to be expected to sleeve your cards. They're going to provide you with the sleeves. Lovely. Thank you, guys. Your lunchtime silica packet. I probably should have said this like way earlier, but when you first open your League of Dungeoneers box after getting it in the mail, it's going to come with a bunch of padding and styrofoam and stuff to keep everything nice and secure. It's going to come with one very large main game box, which is also bagged. It's going to come with the expansion box. It's going to come with a neoprene map folded up into quarters, and then it's going to come with this one card which says corridor. I have to assume that this is like errata, like either this is going to replace the C38 card in the game system, or it's going to be in addition to that, like maybe it's missing. I don't know. We get a lot of bags. I'm not sure if this is to store our dice. Again, this is the King Pledge, so these might be, I can't remember the differences. I know that the King Pledge was I think the lowest pledge I could get to get the game system and the Rat expansion pack. And if you know me at all, you know that I can't avoid rats. We get a lovely, not sure if real leather or synthetic, but very much leather-y dice tray. And we can assemble that right now. Yes, beautiful. It's got the League of Dungeoneers branding. It's very attractive. It probably goes back in here somehow. We have a ton of metal coins. I could not believe this. The weight on this, by the way, is unreal because, yeah, it's actually metal. We've got 100-piece coins, 500-piece, 10-piece, singles, and a couple of these fives. Yeah, that's unbelievable. So awesome. I love the quality of metal coins. I loved when Talisman came with coins that just looked like actual coins. I love when any game comes with coins, but these actually look like they're real currency somewhere. Love the rune motif. Love that there's a symbol on the back. Don't counterfeit these for your game. It's not worth it. You'll end up in League of Dungeoneers jail. Moving all that off the board, off the table, we get a deck of settlement cards. And these are bundled with what look like quick reference cards describing actions, doors, chests, end of turn, basic enemy actions, magic users, lower undead, humanoids with missile weapon, with close combat weapon, beasts, higher undead, enemy activation. The settlement cards have all the same backs. Oh, you get some details on the settlement. 35 coins per night, exclamation 10 to 12, 1d12. There's a kennel here, a general store, and a blacksmith in Kaelkirk. This small village on the western coast primarily sustains itself with fishing and small-scale forestry. I love the idea of these cards. Irondale, Coalfell, everybody's got their own settlement card. The Silver City has an arena, an asylum, banks, blacksmith, fortune teller, general store, guilds, horse racing track, and inner sanctum. No doubt all of these are covered in the massive manuals that are to be unveiled And don't worry, we are approaching what looks like the bottom of the box with crucial components, more card sleeves, and a number of decks. This time, the Fine Treasure deck, the Mercenary deck. It looks like the Rooms deck is in here too. These are actually combined, it looks like. So in the interest of making sure that this is a complete unboxing, I will get these out of their packages so you can see. Oh, I see that there was one of those strips there. Fine Treasure, Mundane Treasure. Mundane Treasure. Worry not, one of the mundane treasure cards is a wonderful treasure card. Draw a wonderful treasure card instead, implying there's going to be another deck. Well, I don't see where I can tear this strip off. So, oh, there it is. There it is. Thank you. Is it not perforated? Was this all a cruel joke? There we go. So much garbage, and yet this is not going to end up being nearly anything in terms of subtracting weight from the overall box. We have a ton of mercenaries. Then we've got exploration cards, and these are the cards that are going to mimic very much your dungeon cards in Warhammer Quest. You've got corridors, you've got trapped corridors, collapsed corridors, small chambers, rickety bridge, fountain room, tomb. I could almost make a rap out of it. I'm going to be spending all day sleeving cards. This will be the first and one of the only times that I actually ever sleeve cards because I usually don't do it. I don't know, I'm just weird like that. I don't generally sleeve my cards. But since this game comes with its own sleeves, it's a bit of a different story. It feels like it needs to be done. We have Monster Magic. That's the entire deck. Oh, no. These are magic monsters. This is the monster deck. Then it goes into reptile monsters. Then it goes into orcs and goblins and dark elves and bandits and undead and beasts. Tons of different monsters. What kind of stats are on these cards? We'll flip one over and see. Plague Demon is the humanoid magic monster that we have unveiled. Here are his 8 numbered stats. We have a 2-hit. We have Dex, Res, Damage, MNA, RS, CS. Demon. Magic damage of 10 forces the demon to make a res test. If it's failed, he's forced back into the void. Remove model. No loot. Own disease ridden. Adjacent hero. Con plus 10 every turn or diseased. XP of 200. 12 wounds. Money part. Don't know what that means. Oh, wow. T2, T4, T3, T2, T2. 2 treasure cards? Is that what that means? Some of these have T and then a number, and then some say part. But we're not done. There is a second deck of monster cards. Picking up where the last one left off with more beasts. Then quest monsters. I like the idea very much of the quest monster. These are just taking monsters that are already here and giving them elevated stats. The Brood Mother, a beast. All right, we've decided to zoom the camera in for this second part. We're going to go ahead and go through all the spell cards. We're not really going to go through all of them. I'm just showing you. We have different levels of spell cards, levels 1 through 6, and we've got prayers, which imply that we've got 2 spell groups, one for more like wizard types, one for more clerical types, up to level 4 with the prayers. Taking a look at level 1 prayer, Bringer of Light. The light of the gods shines to the priest, causing the undead to waver. Any undead trying to attack the warrior priest suffers negative 10 CS, and any undead trying to attack a hero in line of sight of the priest suffers negative 5 CS. I'm guessing that's like combat skill, which is similar to Warhammer Quest's weapon skill. Let's look at an awesome level 4 prayer, God's Champion. The priest fights like a dervish, imbued by the power of his or her god. Combat skill is increased by 20, and the priest gets a +2 damage modifier, but after the battle, the priest loses an additional point of energy. If there's not enough points, the constitution of the priest is halved until the next short rest or until the heroes leave the dungeon. It looks like there's going to be a lot to the gameplay of this. We'll take a look right in the middle at one of the level 3 spells, Summon Water Elemental. The caster summons one of the 4 elementals to aid them in the battle. The elemental fights for caster level number of turns. Immediately add 1 hero initiative token to the bag. Conjuration, no special, 18 out of 5, CV 15. Somebody who has this game, fill me in on what those stats mean below. We still have more decks to go through. This is the travel event deck, taking the concept of the travel and settlements in Warhammer Quest and making it into a deck of cards. We've also got travel event roads, desert, and wilderness all together. One of the wilderness cards, guests. As the sun sets, the party passes by a large farm. Unable to withstand the lure of warmth and light, they ask the farmer if they may sleep in the barn, where it's very warm and very light. The farmer is more than happy to accommodate the party, invites them to a home-cooked meal of exquisite quality, and even offers for them to sleep in the beds inside the house. When morning comes, the party feels obliged to pay for these kind gestures, each offering 15 C to the farmer. No ration is required this day. If your party doesn't have that much money, remove as much as possible. 15 coins, rather. One travel event for the desert. Sandstorm, Colossal Skeleton, love that. Don't worry, the colossal skeleton's not coming to life. Lost stranger, venomous sting. All little things that can happen in between your quests. Highwaymen, the fugitive. Wandering salesman, nice. Oh, and that's actually pretty good. Wandering salesman kind of makes me cringe, but the prices are 10% below standard prices. Quest, roll for a random mini quest from the table at the end of quest book 2. We put these down and then we get into the traps deck, which is only part of the deck of cards here, the other part being the exploration deck. So I can add those right into my pile of exploration. I was thinking that pile looked a little thin. There are not a lot of trap cards. I would say these are not reference cards so much as they are probably drawn from. Click. Totally oblivious to the impending danger, you are saved by a malfunctioning mechanism. With a loud clicking noise, you are made aware of the trap that should have been sprung. Taking a few seconds to appreciate your luck, you carefully continue. Neither your sanity nor the party morale is affected. Oh boy. I'm guessing these are like checks that have to be made here on the bottom. This is not applicable because there was no trap. And then like maybe the skill that the hero needs to be able to disarm it, maybe? Don't know. Just making random guesses here, probably totally wrong. I've got one more large deck of cards to unravel, and this is split up between Fine Treasure and Wonderful Treasure. And a random card from the Wonderful Treasure deck is Potion, of course. Of course, it would be just Potion. This plain bottle would be overlooked by most people, but something with it catches your interest. One random supreme potion. Roll on the potions table to decide what potion it is. Remember that the heroes still need to identify the potion with alchemy before drinking it. Wow. That's pretty cool. Another one, Wyvern Cloak. Now we're talking. This cloak is made out of the skin of a wyvern. A cloak like this is extremely rare, and they are highly sought after. It gives +3 defense against attacks from behind. You could sell it for 1,200 gold. I like that. One more. These are really cool. Mithril Weapon. This bladed weapon is made out of mithril, making it a rare find indeed. 1d4 for the type, the damage, and the EC, and I would suggest the sale price. Additional stats here at the bottom, everything's being rolled on. So if you roll a 1d4 and you roll a 4, that's a rapier. The damage is 1d6 plus 2. The EC is 4/1, and the gold is 260. Thinking just the sale price, but it seems like an awful low amount of money for a mithril weapon. All right, next there's a tiny hutch in the corner that has tiny decks of cards. League of Dungeoneer cards. This is a deck of poker cards. So I knew that this was supposed to come with this game. I don't know what it's used for. I'm sure that you could find all sorts of uses for a deck of standard poker cards, though. I do wish there was a little bit more branding on the play side instead of just the back. That's just me. You know, it's totally unnecessary. I just like the flavor. We have weapon cards like this. Okay, now you got me curious. It's just a shield with a 1 on it. What does the weapon deck mean? What does this do? Oh, okay. So numbers, and then shield, 5 to hit, unless last attack was a power attack, etc. Net, damage, special. Ensnare, target is trapped and must spend 1 AP to get free. Crossbow, short bow, elven bow, short sword, warhammer, arbalest. Where's that warhammer? Show me the warhammer. Yeah, that's right. That's the warhammer, baby. Don't know why. I wanted to look at that. Flail, great axe, slings, longbows, great swords, long swords, warning stars, rapiers, and cursed weapon. All right, so that's the weapon deck. It's tiny. We also get tiny sleeves to put all of our tiny cards in as well. And close combat spells like Raise Dead. I'm not going to open this at this time. I need to get through this unboxing. Dungeoneers, Dungeon Exploring. This is a single chart that has been put into cellophane wrap. Why? I don't know. Well, it does open up, so I guess that could be why. Oh, it's two. We have a search table, we have combat, psychology, and loot. This is separated up into a lot of helpful sections, making it very easy and fast to reference. Loot from corpses, looting corpses, healing, gear, sanity, rolls, 2-hit modifiers, actions, and fear. We've also got parry, power attacks, damages, party morale, harvesting parts, yuck, and then we have T1 through T5. That's the loot from corpses. On the opposite side, we have dungeon exploring, threat roll in combat, traps, initiative, wandering monster, searching tiles, rest, no combat threat, and doors. And we have another table, which is really the search table. It's a continuation of the search table. So you can actually search things like rubble, sacks, sarcophagus, trash pile, water basin, well, grate over a hole, fountains, bookstands, beds, and here's what you roll to see what you find on this search table. This would be a lovely reference to have for Hero Quest as well. And people have made that. We have the larger sleeves for the larger cards. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. First, we're hitting up the character sheets. One is a dry erase. I would say use this for your party of heroes for your solo play. These are campaign based rather than given to each character. And I say this because you have room for not one hero, but actually 4. You've also got your threat level and the party morale here. And then light source, weapon, dodge, status for all 4 heroes, with health, energy, luck, and sanity tables, and then hearts of 10, 20, and 30. They are double-sided, so you can use these, but here is the paper version. Very nice, same stuff on it. Here is the character sheet. Yes, this is for each character. And it looks like you've got different pieces of art on every sheet. That is so cool. Well, it looks like it cycles between, oh no, there's 4 or 5, I guess. Okay, so this takes your base stats like your strength and your con, your dex, whiz, all of that, and it allows you to fill them in and add modifiers for things like your dodge, pick locks, barter, heal, alchemy, and you've got different weapons you can carry, durability, hit points trackers, what you're wearing on your head, your shield, your legs, your torso, your arms, your sanity. What gear do you have? Status XP coins. It's a lot. It is a lot to take in. Then finally, we get to the book content of the main game. We have a library in here, guys. Does contribute healthily to the weight. The League of Dungeoneers Quick Reference Compendium. A straightforward and well laid out reference book. Alchemy, ingredients, power stones, weapons and armor, magic weapons, magic items, levers, treasure table. Red levers, black levers. Enemy attack. Oh my god. Look, it's a complete AI. Check the enemy behavior card. Determine the attack type. Is it standard or power? Wow, that's like a critical fail right here. Or the attacker falls over. Is the target in parry stance? No. Then the target may dodge or parry. How is the target defending? Weapon parry? Shield parry? Dodge? Not? It gets pretty intricate, and I like that. There's another flowchart for the combat turn. Opening a door or chest, I think these are pretty helpful, actually. It does kind of make it seem daunting or overwhelming, like it gives me fear, but at the same time, it's like this leaves no room for any question at all. You simply follow the chart. You won't get lost in references or page numbers or sections that you thought you saw but can't remember where. You simply just reference the flowchart. So actually, this is one of the greatest ideas I think I have ever seen for a game of this type, especially since this boasts role-playing components. It's not just a tabletop dungeon crawler. We have our bestiary here, which has details on all of the enemies and different tables that you can roll on, I assume, to generate a room full of enemies. It goes on to show you the giant hardback book. This is one of the largest books I have. I think I have a Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 3rd edition. It's paperback and it's about this thick. This is the thickest, hardest book I own. This is the Known World, year 524. I'm sure glad the Known World isn't copyrighted or trademarked. The Middlewood Tundra, the Wormlock Spire, the Dragon Peak, the Uncharted Expanse. Welcome to Lorania. Welcome to Lorania. Welcome to Lorania. We mean you. Sorry. This was designed and written by Michael Lundstedt, and he's absolutely done a hugely respectable job. Look at this. We've even got like pictures in here. Troll by Imanji, terrain by Printable Scenery. So we've got a little bit of a shout out to some other properties, other ways that you might be able to get things. We have more flow charts. We have lovely graphics just everywhere. It's very readable. It's not overly fancy at all. It is very easy to see all of this information. Oh god, a lurker guarding the treasure. North Star military figures and pyrocod. Looks like a berserker. Looks like a berserker. But that's okay. I'm sure it's actually... What? Not a berserker. Not a berserker, Ash. A beholder. A beholder. A berserking beholder. Behold the berserking beholder. This is a book of companions. Did I already go through this? And then the Dark Pyramid. This would be an adventure book, right? Yeah. An adventure book with side quests. And immediately we get to see kind of what the poker deck does. Mix a deck with 9 red and 1 black card. Turn over a card every time the party places a new tile. If they draw the black card, they have run into the locksmith. He is accompanied with 1 roll on the encounter table. That goes on. It has a bit of a choose your own adventure section just in at least one place. Quest book 2. This is going to be very much the, hey, roll these dice and see what quest you go on, I think. Or this might be linear. These all might be kind of in the same order. I don't know. I don't know. I would be interested to know, though. You've got different quest writers here. David Schneider wrote Runes to Ruin, for example. The Grey Lady was written by Charles Bingham. So I really appreciate the different quest writers coming in to assist and make scenarios for us to play with this. This is going to be hundreds and hundreds of hours of play. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of re-sleeving. Now I'm going to go through the contents of the False Prophet, but we're going to do this in quite the expedited fashion. So you're going to get the awkward camera angle view while you see just what yours should have come with, assuming that mine came with everything it was supposed to. We have the lovely exterior and minecart. We have more tiles, sheets of tiles. This time we're going to have lots of wonderful rat enemies, and we have wells. And we have horse and carriage. We have more lovely tiles. This time, they look like mines. Caves, we see lava, we see mushrooms, we see mine carts. I love that sort of thing. Oh, I love that sort of thing. We have a ton more of these, I'm gonna guess, event decks or like settlement. Yep, they're events. They're events. They seem to be all the same, just events. So not splitting this into different things. More reference cards though. Nodes, crystals, mushrooms, the Guardian. Underground lake, crystals, mushrooms, nodes. Okay, maybe I went too far there. These go right back in their little section. 4 more decks like traps and invocations and monsters, the King's Army this time. More sleeves for our cards. And I have to take some vacation days off of work so I can sleeve all this. The False Prophet Rulebook, which is not necessarily a tiny book. It's plenty of stuff though. Leveling up druids and knights. Lasting Wounds, the optional rule. Man. Quest Book 3. Unfortunately, not a hardback. Campaign Aftermath. Single quests. The Medallion. Samplers. The Miller. Villages Only. Troll Slayer. The Scepter of the Serpent. Hi, rat people. Love you guys. Another fast reference chart. Another set of character sheets. Legendary items. A smaller book this time, telling you about Priestly Dice, the Orb of Control, the Socks of Perpetual Comfort, the Stone of Valhire, the Halfling Backpack, the Golden Kolpesh, the Merchant's Blouse, the Vampire's Brooch, the Vial of Never Ending, the Trap-Sensing Ring, the Warding Crystal, and so on. And of course, we get more standees for our creatures and more bags to be able to separate them out. We've got Ratkin, Shroomfolk, and King's Army. Which if the King's Army is a bunch of good guys, then they're fine. We can let them hang out. They can definitely crash at our pad. If they're bad, we're going to show them a bad time. One of the viewers of the channel shared the picture of what his stuff looked like after he had everything back in the False Prophet box after unboxing and punching out and everything. And it looked like there was a substantial amount of lid lift on that. So I'm not looking forward to that. But then again, I'm also not looking forward to cleaning all of this up. This is an immense amount of product in 2 boxes. And at least I know that I only have to open 1 box. So this has that going for it over Orc Quest, in which it's almost impossible to keep everything in 1 box, not have to open up both gigantic boxes to play a scene. Not unless you've already got all of your stuff expertly customized in its trays that were 3D printed and all that. I know what I'm doing the rest of today. I'm going to be confined to this hellish task. But it's okay. This is League of Dungeoneers. Will you be joining the League? Have you joined the League? Does this video inspire confidence in this product? I think everything I've looked at here is of top quality. It is great looking stuff. Excellently built. Nothing here is bad. The boxes are pretty heavy duty too, as if they knew the massive amount of weight of stuff in the box and the amount of lifting the lid and stuff and everything was going to contribute potentially so much wear that it looks like they really reinforced all of the holding components. So I really don't worry about the quality of the boxes coming apart or anything like that over time. But yeah, League of Dungeoneers, I don't know that I'm going to get around to playing this anytime soon. I have so many other games and so many other solo experiences that I'm still working through. But at some point, I will be able to dig this out, dust it off, and play it proper. And when I do, you guys will hear all about it, I promise. So until that day, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day today. Let me know what you thought below, and I'll see you next time. Till then, bye for now.